All right. So welcome to the graduate orientation for the Department of Education. So you're likely joining us if you've recently been accepted to a graduate program in the Department of Education and getting started for the fall 2020 semester. So we just wanted to cover several things with you today to make sure we get you oriented to campus and so you know your support team while you're on campus. So should you need anything, we can help you out. So we'll get started. So just a brief look at our agenda for the topics that we're planning to cover with you today. We'll do some welcome and introductions. We'll have Sally Foster from Financial Aid chat with us a little bit about your options specifically as graduate students. We'll cover academic policies and procedures. This is something that the university always kind of anticipates that you're reading the graduate catalog to know all of these things, but we like to make sure that we cover the things that come up with students most often so that you're aware of any options that you might have along the way, but also policies and procedures you're really required to abide to. We have a lovely video from our chess librarian, Raya, to cover some of the library resources that we have in chess. We'll cover the technology tools that you have access to as a UM-Dearborn student, and then we'll talk about registration. So let's get started. Okay. I'm going to hand off the floor to our graduate program director, Paul Fossum. Take it away, Paul.
Just here to welcome you and say we appreciate your being here. We're excited with you for the coming academic semester this fall. It promises to be an interesting one. Our courses will be online, but we're very good at online courses. So this will not be anything shooting from the hip or anything like that. We're very comfortable with that. I also think that we're a very accessible faculty. So the fact, Eric, that you're outnumbered here today to the extent that you are is maybe reflective of our eagerness to help serve you and to help you meet your goals. I heard you say that you have you're signed up for one of my classes, so we'll be getting to know each other very well. Please let us know how we can help, and we will do so.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Before I move on to other things, maybe we should do some introductions from other team members that are in the room. So my name is Lindsay Bookman. I'm the Director of Advising and Records for the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. I'm just gonna kind of go around the grid that I can see on my screen. So Danielle, do you wanna introduce yourself next?
Certainly. Welcome, graduates. We're so happy to have you here. My name is Danielle DeFall, and I am the Field Placement Director for chess, and I also teach some of our reading and language arts courses.
Thank you. How about you next, Jonathan?
I'm Jonathan Larson. I'm the Assistant Director of Advising for the College of Education, Health, and Human Services, and I serve as an advisor for our Health Information Technology majors in the master's programs, as well as our Masters of Arts in Teaching majors. So welcome.
Thank you. How about you, Stein?
Hi, Stein Brunvams, currently serving as the Associate Dean in the College of Education, Health, and Human Services, also a faculty member in Educational Technology. So welcome everyone, whether you're joining us in person or watching us at a later point in time. We're glad to have you.
All right, Susan, I've got you next. You're on mute though.
There we go. I'm Susan Everett, Chair for the Department of Education, and my background is in science education. So we're very happy to provide this orientation for everybody today.
Thank you. Donna, I have you next on my screen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Donna Curie, and I'm the Teacher Certification Officer in chess. So I work with individuals who wish to become certified, as well as those who need to maintain their certification with the state of Michigan.
Thank you very much. Sally, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome everybody to this orientation. I think that you'll be very happy being here at the University of Michigan Dearborn. As you can see, we have not only dedicated but charming professionals who are there to help you with your learning experience. And I am here, as well as the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, to help our students be able to work through the financial difficulties of graduate education. It's not as easy as it was when you were an undergraduate. And so just to start, the place that you will be starting is with the FAFSA. And you're going to be primarily making an application for federal student aid. The good news this year is that federal student loans have dropped tremendously as far as the interest rate for the 2021 academic year. For graduate student loans, the unsubsidized loan program, last year the interest rate was 6.079. It is now 4.3%. It is about the level that undergraduate loans were, actually a little lower. And that is something that you can apply for using the FAFSA. If you have not been on the FAFSA for a while, you would be going directly to a website that has collapsed a lot of information for students, both secured and general information, where you can make an application, and that would be at the www.fsaid.com. You would be going to FAFSA and completing that. Students are also able to make an application for consideration for what is called a Graduate Plus application. And that loan is credit-based, unlike the unsubsidized loan. And that does allow you to be able to additional monies beyond the $20,500 that is available for each 2 semesters. At our school, we assume that many of our students are going to go year-round, and so we follow your enrollment pattern rather than the academic year. These are things that can be very easy to do, and I think that you will find that to be an excellent foundation and a great resource for yourselves. In addition to that, I just want to shout out a little bit of a warning. There is an organization called frank.com, and they tend to masquerade themselves as a provider for applying for financial aid. They are sending a lot of emails to our students, making it sound as though they're receiving information from the federal government. So please, do stay away from that organization. They will charge you, and I'm not quite sure what they'll do with your information, but it definitely is not something that you want to participate in. However, there are other sources of assistance, and scholarships are obviously going to be a major benefit. And there are programs there's a program through the state of Michigan called King Chavez Parks, and that does afford a tremendous amount of tuition resource for both masters and for PhD candidates. You must be from an underrepresented group, whether it's economic, racial, gender, and that is an application that you can make directly through the College of Education, and we'll be able to then forward that information onto the state for possible funding. I've known students who have been able to obtain the support from the King Chavez Parks Scholarship, and it is phenomenal in that you can have all of your tuition carried by this particular wonderful scholarship program. There are also some other scholarships that are available. The Kochoff Scholarship is available for the first year. You do make an application for that. For students who are non-residential, students who are assessed as a non-resident. For tuition purposes, there is the non-residential scholarship, which helps close that gap and put you right back at nearly the in-state tuition amount. And that is an application that you do make through your college. In addition to that, there are a number of university supported scholarships, such as obviously for employees or the dependents of employees, the nonprofit if you work for a nonprofit agency or a community service agency. And there are also a number of scholarships that are available through private sources. And while you will find that, unfortunately, high school seniors usually seem to have the biggest round of scholarships that are available, there are things that you can look for. And I would suggest using the resources that we have on our website for private scholarships to look through the easy ones where it's just looking up and you can scan through information, identify what might be of interest and what might not be. We try to have a very balanced group so that we're covering all of the disciplines and all of our undergraduates and graduate and PhD candidates as well. There are also scholarship searches where we have vetted the particular organization, and you would simply go in and provide basic information, not necessarily any personal information, and you would be able then to, oh, sorry, I think I have a little toddler who might be roaming in just a moment. It's always exciting to have Nana at home, you know? Anyway, sorry, that's so inappropriate. I apologize. Anyway, but these are things where you can actually work with the particular profile that you create of yourself. And I have found a lot of scholarships that can be available. And sometimes just going to something like scholarships.com and entering scholarships for graduate education students can be very, very helpful. We do also have scholarship tips, just reminders of things that you probably already know. But I hope that this quick overview will allow you to move to the meat of your program. And I know that you will enjoy the presentations and the information that you're provided. Thank you for coming to the University of Michigan Dearborn, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you have. Questions can be forwarded to our contact information at umd-ask-ofa@umich.edu. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much for that information. I know that financial aid and paying for our way through college can sometimes be the
overwhelming
first thing. Yeah, and overwhelming. Yeah. So thank you. I really appreciate you being here today and for providing that information.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Lindsay, can I make one comment financial aid related?
Of course.
For those of you who are eligible for the non-resident scholarship and have the requisite GPA, incoming GPA for that, you would automatically be considered for it for this fall. So there's no additional application for that. So you may have already been contacted about that, perhaps. So just know that there's not even an additional application at this point for that. There had been.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm going to say my goodbyes. Thank you all very much.
Bye, Sally. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Sally. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right. So we will move on to the different advisors for the different programs. I just want to mention too, we're going to make the slides available to all those who weren't able to join us today. Also because there's a lot of great clickable links in these slides. And we've tried to use it in a way so that you'll have links that are direct to our website so that there will be future resources for you as well. So largely you would have all received an admission letter directly from the college, which would have listed your advisor and their contact email. But just in case you're looking to switch concentrations or you forgot who that advisor is and how to contact them, I'm going to click on this link here. It'll take us to our graduate advisor page. And if you scroll down to the current student part, you'll see that everybody is listed here in alphabetical order. So if you're looking to see who the advisor for your program is, you can find them here. And you've already met some of the lovely people you see pictures for. So just to kind of give you an idea of who advises for which program. So that's available for you there. Also wanted to give you some information about our CHESS Office of Student Success. So we have quite a few members of our team that are joining us that you've met in introductions. But our office is really intended to be a one-stop shop for our undergraduate and graduate students in the College of Education, Health and Human Services. We have advising resources there. So your faculty advisor is certainly your first primary resource as far as the curriculum that you're pursuing. But if you have any policy procedure type questions, you need to fill out some sort of academic form, whether it be registering for classes, withdrawing from a semester, filling out a petition, anything like that, you can always come to the CHESS Office of Student Success for. We also do field placement services in our office. So Samika Aloyo, if you're planning on doing an internship, we'll be working directly with you to accomplish those goals. And Donna Carey, who introduced herself a little earlier, our teacher certification officer, is really here to assist you with all of your questions related to your current certification, or if you're pursuing certification through your program. So we really have a large team of resources here and available to assist you through your program while you're at UM-Dearborn, and specifically in our college. So we've already heard from Sally. So we talked a little bit earlier about some of those policies and procedures that the university likes to put in the catalog, but it seems it's a little watered down in there. So we like to cover the ones that are really most important to you and important to know as you get started as a student. So you can see them listed here. I'm going to click through them just so you know what web pages they go to and cover some information. But first and foremost, the academic calendar. So one of the great things about the academic calendar, outside of just knowing when classes start and end, are also some of these registration deadlines that become extremely important as the semester starts. So for example, if I open the accordion to pull up the fall registration deadlines, you'll see there's a series of different deadlines to be able to withdraw from classes throughout the term, resulting in a variety of different things. So at the beginning of every term, we have a 2-week period, the fall and winter, full term for summer. If you're ever registered for a half session in the summer, those deadlines are a little bit shorter. But generally speaking, it's the first 2 weeks of the semester. You're able to add and drop classes without any sort of penalty. So that means if you are registered for a class and you drop before that add drop period, you would not be responsible for the tuition and fees of that course that you dropped. This is why the University of Michigan Dearborn doesn't require payment for the semester until that add drop period typically. So you're really just paying for the classes that you actually are taking for the semester. This becomes nice if you're trying to test drive those course loads. You're not sure if you want to go full-time or part-time. This can be a really great opportunity to kind of test out a full-time load. And if it's not working out for you, you can always drop a class without any sort of transcript or financial penalty before the add drop deadline. So that for fall would be Tuesday, September 15th. You'll see there's a variety of other deadlines here as well. So this is kind of what I mean when I talk about having options. So if something comes up for you personally or professionally in the middle of the semester that really causes a barrier to your success in your program or in a class that you're taking, you do have some options, and those kind of change a little bit as the semester goes on. So if you're ever in question about withdrawing from a class after the add drop period, you can always reach out to the CHESS Office of Student Success for guidance on what your best options are. And you can always have available the deadlines for each of those drop dates through the registrar's website here. So the wait list is the next policy that, sorry. The wait list is the next policy that we always like to cover. This can be a little bit confusing. There is a policy specific on the website for you to browse through, but generally what happens is our wait list is first come, first serve. And that process of moving students from the wait list into a course is operated manually through the registrar's office. So as students drop at different points throughout the day, they'll move students from waitlisted courses into the class if there's space. So you do always have the option to add yourself to the wait list, and we highly, highly recommend it. If it really is your best option for getting into a course, if it's a full section. So adding yourself to the wait list, that's something that you would do as part of registration in Banner. And if you need any help with how to do that, there are some instructions for how to do that on the website here, but also again in the CHESS Office of Student Success, we could assist with that. Instructor initiated drop is going to be brand new for fall 2020, which is one of the reasons we really wanted to make sure you all know about it. So I guess they haven't posted it yet, but essentially what the instructor initiated drop is we don't have an attendance policy on UM-Dearborn's campus, but what we're looking for is for students to be engaged in courses in the first week or two of the semester. And if you're not engaged in the course, being in communication with the faculty member or logging into your Canvas page, things like that, it's possible for your instructor to request that you be dropped from the class to make space for anybody who might be waitlisted for that course. So please just be aware that if you're going to be away or unavailable for the first week of classes, be sure to communicate with your faculty members that you do intend to take the course so you don't risk being dropped from the section. Our transfer of credit policy really refers to any graduate level courses you may have taken at a different institution and plan to bring into your program here at the University of Michigan Dearborn. The limit for graduate programs is 6 total credits. So you would do this on a transfer of credit form, which is linked here. But also, if you're coming from another University of Michigan campus, whether it be Flint or Ann Arbor, you may have the opportunity to bring in more credits. So this is a great policy to review. If you need to take a class on a different campus for some reason, you can use the transfer of credit policy to transfer back those credits to your UM-Dearborn degree for up to 6 credits. The petition process is something that we utilize if you need to make any sort of exception to your program. So if there's a class that's required for your program, but it's not offered in the semester that you need to take it, or you'd like to substitute it with something else because you have previous experience in the course that's required and you want a new topic to explore, those types of things. If you need a time extension on your degree, which is typically 5 years to completion, if you need more time to apply those credits to your degree, you can petition for a time extension. So our petition process is an electronic form that's completed. Your request comes to a professional standards committee who reviews your request and gives you back a response. This is really important as part of the curriculum as a CHESS student. If you're requesting any sort of course substitutions, you're going to see your plan of study in something called DegreeWorks, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's essentially an electronic version of your plan of study, or what we would call your audit. So if you're substituting classes, the petition process is what initiates the substitution course to show up in your plan of study for you. So it really helps to make sure that your plan of study that you're able to see through DegreeWorks is the most up-to-date and most accurate. Academic standing is an important piece to be aware of as well. The minimum required GPA for all graduate programs is a 3.0. We kind of have a 3-semester policy on academic standing. So the first semester below the required minimum, students are on probation. You receive a letter from the college indicating so. We highly recommend you go to speak with your advisor at that point to talk about different strategies for reducing any barriers you might be experiencing, or if you're struggling with academic content, working closely with your faculty members from those courses. On a second semester, you'd have continuing probation, which is your last semester to bring your required minimum GPA up. So on a third semester with your overall GPA below the 3.0 minimum, you'd be required to withdraw from the program. Now, no one comes into a graduate program and intends to be on academic probation. It's something that happens because something comes up in our lives, or you might be going full-time and part-time is really what you needed to do and you got in the middle of a semester and life happens. So that's really what the CHESS Office of Student Success is available for you all, and also your faculty advisors. The earlier we know about challenges or barriers that you're facing in your life, the more options that we'll have for you to navigate your academic success. Sometimes that means withdrawing from a class, but often our goal is really to help you stay in your classes and be successful in them so you can continue to make progress. So the earlier we know about anything that comes up for you, the more options we'll have to help you navigate through that period of time in your life and avoid academic standing. Trying to get used to these Mac mouses and just keep rolling past things. All right, so repeating courses. At the undergraduate level, so for those of you joining us who may have done your undergraduate degree here at UM-Dearborn, you may have remembered the repeat policy in that if you retake a class, it replaces your GPA for that class. It's different at the graduate level. When you repeat a course at the graduate level, your grades are averaged for that course. So you really have to do pretty poorly in a course for us to recommend for you to repeat the class since you're averaging them out. So it's just something to keep in mind when you think about academic standing. If you're looking to bring up your GPA, sometimes it's actually more beneficial to take a new course than it is to repeat an old one. So something that you should definitely check in with your faculty advisors or check in with us at the CHESS Office of Student Success to navigate if that ever becomes the case for you as a student. And finally, for our academic policies and procedures, our cross-listed courses. So this is really for those of you, again, who have done your undergraduate degrees at UM-Dearborn, particularly those of you who are in certification programs and maybe pursuing something at the graduate level where there's an overlap in courses. So a lot of the courses are cross-listed at the undergraduate and graduate level, which means that if it's required for your graduate program and it's a course that you already took, you can't get credit for it a second time at the graduate level. So in these cases, we would have you work with your faculty advisors to make sure that you replace that course with something you can get credit for towards your graduate program. So for example, some of you may have pursued part of the ESL endorsement as an undergraduate student and have taken the methods courses. This is only going to make sense to some students, but EDD 447 and 448 are common classes that students take at the undergraduate level. Those are the ESL methods courses. Those are also required for some programs at the graduate level. So if you've taken those at the undergraduate level and you're in a grad program that requires them, we would select with your faculty advisor, select a new course for you to take at the graduate level. So just making sure that nobody is taking a course that was cross-listed that they've already taken at the undergraduate level. Right. So our campus resources we always like to cover. Again, these are all clickable links. I won't click through all of them, but again, the PowerPoint will be available for you so that you can have these websites. Our counseling and psychological services is free to all students on campus. Which is a great benefit of being a student at UM-Dearborn. If there is something going on in your life or something that's creating a barrier for you in school or work, they're a great resource for you on campus. Also directed by the same person as the Disability Services Office. So if you need to apply for any sort of accommodation for testing or anything like that in your courses, you would do that through the Disability Service Offices. We've already heard from Sally Foster in financial aid. For those of you who may be coming to us as international students, there is an Office of International Affairs, which is greatly helpful for anybody who's doing OPT or CPT or needs, has any questions about visas or anything like that. They're a huge resource. We rely on them greatly for supporting our international students. The Office of the Registrar, we communicate with them regularly on a very regular basis, and most of where our policies and procedures come from. The Registrar's Office is greatly helpful in all of those forms that you may need to have processed, but particularly, as their name suggests, they can help with registration. So if you're having any issues, need to turn in an ad drop form or anything like that, the Office of the Registrar is greatly helpful for all of those things. We're going to come back to the library services. I have a great video for you from our CHESS librarian, Raya, that we'll watch next. But we also do have a student food pantry on our campus, and it is open during this time by appointment. So if you ever find yourself, your family, or any of your friends that are in need, please know that these resources are available to you at UM-Dearborn. The Talent Gateway is also a great resource to graduate students. They do a lot of programming around networking, and along with our career services office, do programming on writing resumes or putting together your LinkedIn page to make sure it has all of those right keywords to be searchable by future employers. Our Center for Social Justice and Inclusion is a fairly new office that compiles our Veterans Affairs Office, as well as services and programming for our LGBT students, and other programming related to social justice and inclusion. We also, sorry, I keep doing that. We also have a writing center, which is available to help you out with any of those papers you're writing. You're going to do a lot of that as a graduate student, and they are a fantastic resource for making sure that you're including the right references, that you're speaking with a professional voice, all those types of things. So the Writing Center is available as a resource to all undergraduate and graduate students. All right, so now we're gonna watch a wonderful video from our colleague, Raya.
Hi everybody, welcome to CHESS, welcome to UM-Dearborn. I'm so glad that you chose to come to study with us and to be part of our program. We're really excited to have you and to get to know you better over the next couple of years. My name is Raya Samet. I am the librarian for Health, Human Services, and Education here at the UM-Dearborn Marquis King Library. I couldn't be here live because this is my vacation week, and it was so important to me to get to talk to you about the library that I hope you'll accept this video and get in touch with me so that we can do something in real time really soon. This is me, this is a picture, and this is the best way to get in touch with me, which is by email. I'm really fast and really responsive. So just drop me a line, rsamet, RSAMET @umish.edu, and I'll be happy to get you whatever you need. This is a really, really important slide because it is our website, and that's the portal to all the resources and the assistance that we can provide to you. You can find it at library.umd.umish.edu. And it's really important that you use this website for the Marquis Library through Dearborn, rather than going to the library webpage in Ann Arbor. So please do not use library.umish.edu. Even if you Google it and it's the top result, it is not going to get you what you need. Because when you try to authenticate through Ann Arbor's website, you may get a lot of error messages that say that you don't have authorized access, or even worse, that those access resources are forbidden. You don't want that. Actually, you do have access to most of those things, but you have to log in through us. And the place that you're going to log in on this website is in that yellow stripe at the top on the right-hand side where it says My Account. You'll also notice that yellow stripe is our menu bar where you can drop down and find all kinds of resources. But we've also put a lot of the most used one right there on that main part of the page. So a couple of features I just want to walk you through. There's a big search box in the middle underneath that yellow stripe that says search for books, journal articles, and more. That is a very powerful search box. It is connected to a tool called Summon, which is our discovery tool. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but that's the place you're going to want to input your search terms for whatever you're looking for. We've also got some info boxes that give you helpful information at a glance, including what our hours for and access to our complete schedule. Please refer to this rather than Googling our hours. Google does not update our hours as often as we do, so this is the most important, accurate place to check if the library is open or closed. Also, you'll see that there's on the right-hand side a contact from our VPN box with quick access to all the ways you can get help from us at any time. And there are some gray boxes underneath those big blue boxes with sort of info at a glance, and that gets you quick access to some of our most used resources, like journals, databases, books and ebooks, and of course, subject guides. I can help you with a lot of different things, so if you don't know what a librarian does or what I can do with you, I just wanted to talk about a few of them. I can do more than this. If you think there's something I might be able to help with, just ask. If I'm not the right person, I'll connect you with somebody who can help you with that. So things like finding great sources, scholarly sources, peer-reviewed sources, and that includes journal articles, but it could include all kinds of other resources too. How to narrow your search or choose relevant keywords, how to pick the right databases for you that are going to be really fruitful, performing more advanced searches in databases, finding things like statistics or data sets to support what you're doing. Actually doing your citations in APA or some other style. If you need other style support, I can help you with that too. Avoiding plagiarism is so important. Finding places to publish or present your work. We highly encourage you to look for opportunities to share what you're doing, share the great work that you're doing by publishing or presenting at a conference. How to read scholarly articles really well and efficiently and get the most out of them. If that's not something you're comfortable with, let me know, I can help with that. How to use some citation management tools to help you with your citations and also just to stay organized and keep track of everything that you're reading for all your classes, because there's going to be a lot of reading, you just know it. And locating and borrowing sources that we don't own in Dearborn. We have access to lots and lots beyond what we have within our campus and within University of Michigan. So I can help you make sure that you don't pay out of pocket for things that you already have free access to through your tuition dollars. Speaking of what you have free access to through your tuition dollars, the Norwegian Library gives you access to over 600,000 ebooks, 103,000 electronic journals, 209,000 print books, lots of other media materials like over 4,700 DVDs. We give you access to over 1,100 databases. That's about 3 times as many as comparable universities of our size. So we just want you to know that we already give you direct access to a lot, but then beyond that, we can help you to procure what you need. If you're looking for books or ebooks, you're going to click on that gray quick click box for books and ebooks, and then you're going to be able to search our catalog for books and ebooks. You can search, you can browse by subject or title. So that's the place you're going to go for books and ebooks. If you're looking for journal articles and or ebooks, if you potentially want to search for both at the same time, you can do both in the same search. This is Summon again, that really big, powerful search box right on the main page. And this is what it looks like when you've entered a search and you get back your results. So you can do a lot of filtering with the facets on the left-hand side to narrow down your results and be really specific. And this is the place that I generally send people to do their searches, whether it's for journal articles, for ebooks, for other types of media. This is place number 1 to come. So remember, Summon, that big search box on the main page. That's going to be really the best tool to get you started using our library resources. But we've also got direct access to all our databases, those 1,100 databases I talked about. Click on that databases box and you can either look through a listing with descriptions of all of those. If you go to the all for find databases by name, if you click on all, you can see the full list. You can skip to the letter that you need for that database, or you can browse by subject, and I've given you the sort of top 10 recommended databases for each subject there. Don't forget, I also make subject guides. These are helpful compilations of resources and all kinds of media, videos, tutorials that I make. So there's a chance that there's one for your course or one for the area that you're looking into. And they'll be under that subject guides tab, which you can search by your course, by your subject, by me, however you like. And since a lot of us are off campus all the time these days, I want to make sure you know how to log in and get access off campus. So from our library page, library.umd.umich.edu, you're going to click on the My Account icon. It's the little person icon that says My Account in that yellow stripe menu at the top. And you're going to log in with your unique name and your Kerberos password. So what are those? Your unique name is the part of your email address for UMich that is before the @UMich. So mine is RSAMET, rsamet@umich.edu. So my unique name would be just the rsamet. You don't have to put in the @ symbol or the UMich, just the unique name part. And your Kerberos password is the password you use to check your UMich email or log in to do things like register for courses. So you should already have that, and you don't have to create anything new in order to get access to our resources. Just log in before you get started so that you are authenticated. Like I said, normally, and hopefully these will both restart fairly soon, we have access to resources beyond our own campus through ILLiad, which gives us both electronic ILL, interlibrary loan, where we can get you things like articles electronically as a PDF, usually within about 24 hours, but also bring you books and physical items that you need. And MELCAT, the Michigan Electronic Library Catalog, which gives us access to physical items that are shared throughout Michigan libraries, both public libraries and academic libraries. So both of those services are great. They're free to you, completely free, no charge. So if you need those things, please let us help you with them. We can walk you through how to place requests, and it's really easy and fast. Right now, physical items aren't coming through, but we expect that these will restart at some point. APA citation. I'm sure that if you haven't used the 7th edition, which came out in October, you'll get used to it fairly quickly. There's just a couple of changes from the 6th edition, but it's not a huge sea change, so not a terrible shock to the system, but you're going to need to grab a copy of the manual if you don't already have one. This is my copy. I highly recommend springing for the extra couple of bucks if you can afford it, to get the spiral bound version with the tabs, because I think it's a little more user friendly. But honestly, get whatever works for you. It's going to be a nice investment for your program, and especially if you're planning to pursue further studies and do some publications. This is going to really help. And then using citation management software early on. So use Zotero or Mendeley. They're both free. Personally, I'm a Zotero user and have been for over 15 years. We also, if you prefer a software, an installed software, tend to recommend EndNote, which you can buy from the Computer Showcase on a student discounted price under $120. And that never expires. It's not a resubscribe per year kind of thing. It's just a one-time fee. But Zotero, totally free and open source, what I use, perfectly powerful enough and robust enough in features. And also Mendeley, a freemium model where you can totally use the free version. You don't have to upgrade, but if you needed more storage space or whatever, you could pay per month to upgrade it. Right now, as you know, because of COVID-19, we are mostly just doing everything virtual because our campus is not open for visitors. But we're going to be reopening. There are plans to reopen, and of course, changes can happen. So I'll just say, check our website. Our website will reflect whatever the changes are, what our accurate hours are. So please check there. And that does mean that a few services that are physical in nature could be impacted at various times. So this could impact things like building access, whether or not we're open to the public and for what types of services, circulation, and the sort of interlibrary loan MELCAT that I talked about. But we're providing you lots and lots of great stuff online, and we're totally here working every day to support you. So whether you need journal articles, ebooks, streaming films, access to databases, if you want virtual appointments with me or with another librarian, or if you just have a quick question and want to ask us with a chat or an SMS message, we are available for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm really looking forward to working with you and getting to meet you over the next few years, hopefully in person at some point. and to invite you to drop by my office. But for now, you can drop by my virtual office, send me an email, get in touch. Welcome to Michigan, welcome to Chess. And go blue.
All right, that was an awesome video by Raya. So kind of along the lines of some of the technology pieces of what's available to you at UM-Dearborn, we have first Canvas, which is the online, what we would call learning management system, which is where you would turn in any sort of assignments or discussion board questions or anything like that that's required for an online class. So you'll be using this a lot for the fall 2020 term. It's linked there for you as well in the slides. Mbox is another great resource for you all. It's very similar to Google Drive if you've used Google Drive or Dropbox in the past. Mbox is our very own version of an electronic filing storage system. And it's great if you're working on group projects with peers and you need to share documents, things like that. It's a great resource for organizing all of those documents. The University of Michigan Dearborn utilizes Google as our mail platform, our email platform. So if you're familiar with Gmail or you've been using that largely in the past, that won't be a big change for you. We do ask that when you're communicating with any of the offices on campus, including your faculty members or the Chess Office of Student Success or the Registrar's Office, so on and so forth, that you utilize your UMich email address. This is really the best way for us to verify that you are the person we're talking to when we communicate back with you. So you may find that offices will respond to your Gmail account asking you to email the same question from your UMich account to be sure that we can verify that you are the person we're talking to. You can have your personal email or your UMich email from school forwarded into your personal account. Just make sure when you're writing messages that you're writing those from your UMich email address. Along with the email, you get access to all of the Google Suite, so Google Drive, all of the sharing systems from that as well. We're using Google Slides with you today, so all sorts of things available to you through the Google Suite. And finally, DegreeWorks. So referring back to the plan of study or the audit that I referred to earlier. So I'm actually going to click on this one so I can show you an example of what that looks like. So this is, first it takes you to the main portal for students on campus, which gives you access to all of the technology tools we just covered. But UM-Dearborn Connect is where you would access your DegreeWorks audit. When I click on this button, it will take me eventually to a page that looks like this. So just to point out a couple of things here for you, this portal is called UM-Dearborn Connect. You have the ability to view the course catalog from here. So if you are looking for an elective in your program or you want to view a course description, this is really the best way to view that. The class schedule when it's released for each semester. So for example, our winter schedule is typically released sometime in mid-October. And then registration doesn't start until the beginning of November. So you typically have somewhere between 3 and 4 weeks with the schedule before you're actually able to register for classes. But when that schedule is released for you to see, it will populate in this class schedule button. There's also a nice feature here if you're looking specifically for online classes. The Registrar's Office compiles all of those courses into one tab for you. They're listed out, it's not super pretty, but accessible. They're listed out, organized by college and then alphabetical order by subject. But in order to access your DegreeWorks page, you would go to Enter Secure Area. And you'd log in with the same unique name and Kerberos password that Raya taught you about in our video. You're likely going to have to set up a Duo sign-in. So you can do that through a phone call or through a push to your device. And there we go. And so once you're logged into your UM-Dearborn Connect page, you're going to have these 3 tabs here. You're going to have personal information, student services, and financial aid. Personal information is where you can update your emergency contacts, or one of the things I highly recommend doing right away is signing up for the emergency alerts. You can use your cell phone number or the phone number that you use most often. This is where those alerts when campus are closed is closed for weather or anything like that, you will get a text message or a call to whatever number you put in there. The student services tab is where you're going to register for classes. So registration tab for that. Student records is where you're able to request transcripts. If you have any holds on your account, you'll be able to view those there. You can also print your unofficial version of your transcript if you need that for any reason. Your student account is where you'll pay your tuition bill. And DegreeWorks, this is where you'll find that audit that I was referring to earlier. Schedule planner, graduate students don't use this as often because your programs are more prescribed. But if you were looking for classes that fit into your schedule, schedule planner allows you to kind of punch in a bunch of different class options. And if you have a work schedule that you're trying to fit everything into, does all the magic for you without having to write everything down and wondering if classes overlap with one another. And then finally, the financial aid tab is where you would go to review any financial aid awards that you've received or look at the status of any application that you've submitted. All right, so I believe Eric is already registered for classes, is that right? All right, awesome. So I'm gonna skip this piece because I wanna be mindful of your time. But if anybody does need help with registering for classes, you can contact the Chess Office of Student Success, and myself or one of my colleagues can walk you through the process. We can often do this through a virtual face-to-face meeting where you can share your screen with us so we can walk you through the process of registering. All right, do we have any questions?